Hello and welcome to another day in paradise. Today I posed the question, did or would Blaxit's Automatic Citizenship Proposal to the Gambian government, would it have been more successful? Would it have been successful if she'd have had the backing from the other main YouTubers in the Gambia, i.e. Art Cathy and Bags? Would she have stood a better chance of success if she'd have had the backing of all two? Well, I'm going to try and answer this one, but first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share and click the bell notification. So I was watching not long ago a video which was made by the YouTuber from the Netherlands. His name is My Thoughts on Everything. And he had come across some really startling data which surprised me and scared me at the same time. I've got to admit this. So the data that he'd come across here, I think he'd got from Google Analytics. Google is the owner of YouTube, so I think you can find out a lot of information about certain YouTube channels on Google Analytics, how they're performing, who's watching, where are they watching it from, those sorts of parameters. You can find out a lot, and I think he went digging into Google Analytics to find out information about the Gambian YouTubers, who were the biggest Gambian YouTubers. So he read off a list of the Gambian YouTubers, and I think I'm off the top of my head, so I'm saying this off the top of my head. I think two of them were animal type YouTubers, and there was another two YouTubers as well, another two YouTube channels. So there were four together. And then number 5 was Art Cathy. Art Cathy is the number 5 top YouTuber in the whole of the Gambia. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so, but you know, you would have thought that it would have been perhaps Bags or Blaxit even. But no, it was Art Cathy who is the number 1 repat YouTuber in the whole of the Gambia. Her channel garners more views than both Bags and Blaxit. So yeah, it was pretty impressive to hear that. So this is where things get interesting. Okay, the vast majority of, because he looked inside the analytics of all 3 YouTube channels, that's Bags, Aunt Cathy and Blaxit, and he found out that the vast majority of the traffic which was being pulled in by both Blaxit and by Bags, the vast majority of their traffic was coming from the wider diaspora, which is very interesting, but not strange. Okay, especially with Bags, you would expect most of his traffic to come from the United States. Most of my traffic comes from the United States, strangely enough. But yeah, most of the YouTubers that watch his channel come from the United States. Now, the interesting part is Art Cathy. Art Cathy's YouTubers, most of the traffic that Art Cathy is garnering is coming from inside the Gambia.
Listen to me. We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Got a squad car on the way over there right now. Just get out of that house.
That's scary. Now, the even scarier part is that the vast majority of those people, or of the views of her channel, people are not subscribing to her channel, but they are watching it. So many people, mostly Gambians, are watching her channel and they're not subscribing to her channel, which tells me a few things. It tells me, one, they don't want to support her. It tells me that it's not a positive way. It's not a positive thing. They are perhaps watching to see what she has to say next. And two, it tells me that perhaps it's time for her to reconsider her methods of communication. Now, you have to remember that the vast majority of those people who are watching from inside the Gambia, these are going to be people who are living in the larger cities, the larger towns, Serekunda, Banjul, those larger towns inside the Gambia. So because he also found out, this YouTuber, My Thoughts on Everything, he also found out that the vast majority of the people in the Gambia don't have access to the internet, which is just so strange for a small country like that. It's really weird, especially for an African country. You know, Africans are normally connected, more so than some parts of Europe. They are connected because their lives, for all intents and purposes, depends on staying connected. It's how they get paid. It's how they it's really funny because their monetary system, if you want to give someone a bit of change, you can just give it to them via an app in most cases. So not a lot of people have access to the internet in Gambia, which is really weird. But those people who do have access normally have a bit of money, normally have a bit of influence, and normally have a bit of power. So this leads us to another question. Has Art Cathy's actions influenced the decision that was made in Parliament, in the Gambian Parliament? The horrible answer to this is, what I think personally is yes. Probably. You know, if you have a lot of well-to-do Gambians who are watching Art Cathy's shows, listening to her, the way she speaks about them, there are going to be people who would have watched those videos and said to themselves, I don't want more of these inside my country. I don't want any more. One is enough. Now, Art Cathy has an American passport, which gives her a bit of security. It means that the forces that be have been leaving her alone largely. So she's been lucky. That passport has protected her. But for how long is that going to happen for? And will she and her actions scupper more attempts to enable the diaspora to return in a more formally easier way? I think that I think, yes, it's going to make things a lot more difficult if she continues to go this way. Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of why unity is so important. I know I bang on about unity a lot, but there's precious little that we can achieve if we are fragmented, especially on an ethnic level. It's such a shame, because Blaxit put so much work into this, and she did her work with grace and sophistication. She did a very good job, but the thing is, I don't think she's given up. She's not going to give up. I just read a piece that she just made. She posted it on her YouTube stories, and she hasn't given up, which tells you a lot about this Blaxit movement. When have we ever given up? We've never given up. So she will continue, and I don't think she's going to stop until she gets some joy. There's a lot of things that pass through Parliament that don't pass through the first time, so this is not a dead end, but certainly it's a step back. So to answer the first question, would there have been more chance of the proposal going through in Parliament if there'd been more unity amongst the repat YouTubers in the Gambia? I think the answer is yes, and I think that it should be quite obvious. I think that a lot of the people at the top have actually been watching these repat YouTubers, and I don't think they've been impressed. I don't think they've been impressed with the way that they've sort of communicated with one another. I don't think they take people like Bags serious. I think they've seen people like Bags before, which is a shame. I think they see them as something that's going to be short term, something that's going to come and go. I think now it's incredibly important for Art Cathy to listen up and see what's happened, because she's making things much harder for the people who are trying to get there. She's making things much harder for the future of the diaspora who want to return specifically to Gambia. Her words are actually making a difference. So Blaxit is going to prevail. As for Bags and Art Cathy, I believe that they will continue to be a thorn in the side of the Blaxit movement. I know that's some pretty negative information, but I don't see them changing. So what can we get out of this final decision? Well, I'm not sure if you remember, but many years ago there was a spaceship called the Challenger, and the Challenger crashed. It blew up as it was going into the sky as a space shuttle. And what NASA did, they didn't panic. They didn't say, "Oh my God, what's going on?" They closed the doors to the operating room and said, "Okay, let's have a look at all the data. Let's collect all the data and let's analyze the data." And I think that's so they can try and stop this from happening again. And I think that's exactly what the Blaxit movement should do. They should find out the real reasons why the politicians made this decision, and they should try and go all out to make sure that the next time someone else makes a petition in any other part of the African continent, they will have this information at hand to try and make sure that they are more successful. So what are your thoughts on what happened? Will we get a second chance at it in the Gambia? Will Blaxit be ultimately successful? Will Bags, Art Cathy and Blaxit, will they ever work together at some point? Will it ever happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts. Well, that's it from me for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.